Understand why MOQs are so high. The second mistake I see my clients make is not understanding why MOQs in Vietnam apparel manufacturing are so high. If no one explains the reasons to you, then how can you know? Allow me to explain. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. If you order less than this number, the factory will decline to work with you. The majority of factories in Vietnam are big, like you see in this picture. Mass production factories only become profitable when they reach economies of scale. In this lesson, I will illustrate why quantities are so high. We will talk about MOQs for each step in the production process. If you have never been inside of a factory, then how can you know how they operate? If you have never seen the scale of factories, then how can you understand why they need large volume? Seeing is believing. The problem is that most startups never get a chance to see inside factories and therefore believe what they want to believe. They believe that there must be a factory that can do small quantity. While I support not giving up and holding on to your dream, we must be realistic. This lesson focuses on showing you what the reality is in countries like Vietnam, China, India, and Egypt. Now, there are small factories in all of these countries, but the good small factories grow quickly into big factories, and they stop accepting small orders. These good small factories will say yes to small orders today, but as soon as they get a big profitable order, they disappear. The bad small factories stay small for a reason, and it's usually because the management is not good. And you don't want to be working with them, so be cautious when any factory accepts to do small quantity. The bad small factories stay small and exemplify the stereotype of sweatshops. Do you want to be working with them? Can you manage them by emails only? In my personal experience here in Vietnam, even when I've worked with small sweatshops face to face, I struggle. I struggle with communication and quality control. They simply lack professionalism and are risky. Read together with me. Sewing factory MOQ, trim factory MOQ, accessory factory MOQ, fabric factory MOQ, printing factory MOQ, and yarn factory MOQ. Did you know that indirectly you are working with all of these factories? One concept that took me a while to wrap my head around is that we don't just work with one sewing factory when producing apparel in Vietnam. In fact, we work with all these different factories. Most people just focus on working with the sewing factory because that's who they talk to. And they don't realize that the sewing factory is just one of many factories that are used in the apparel production process. It's important to understand that while you communicate with only one factory, that factory is actually working with multiple factories on your behalf. And each factory has their own MOQs. By the way, you might ask, what is an accessory and what is a trim? Accessories are anything you throw away the first time you put on a garment, like carton boxes, poly bags, hang tags, etc. Trims are things that you don't throw away, like care labels and woven labels. Here are some examples of factories and their MOQs for all of the steps in apparel production. Here is a picture of a yarn spinning factory that's processing bales of raw cotton. Their MOQs are measured in tons. This is a spinning machine where cotton fibers, like what you saw on the previous slide, are spun into yarn. The output are cones of yarn, which you can see here. The cones are then sold to knitting and weaving factories. Their MOQ is measured in kilograms of yarn. Here is a picture of a knitting factory. This is a circular knit machine which produces t-shirt fabric. Note the cones from the yarn factory that are on the racks. Operating at 100% capacity, one of these machines uses about 120 cones, which equates to approximately 1,000 kilograms of fabric, which is approximately 3,500 t-shirts. T-shirt fabric MOQ is approximately 1,000 kilograms, which is around 3,500 t-shirts. This is a loom that makes woven fabric like bed sheets, silk, and denim. You can see the yarn being fed in from the top. This machine makes around 1,000 meters of fabric per cycle. This factory has over 100 looms, and their MOQ is 2,000 meters. With 2,000 meters, you can make around 1,800 pairs of jeans. Next is the dyeing factory. Here you are looking at dye vats. I call them bathtubs of colored water. The grayish fabric you see stacked up in the crates is washed in the colored water multiple times to get the exact color that you ask for. These dye vats hold 1,000 kilograms of fabric at a time. 1,000 kilograms of fabric can make around 3,500 t-shirts. There are dye vats that are 200 kilograms and 500 kilograms in size, so there is some flexibility in fabric dyeing MOQ per color. The correct term would be MCQ, minimum color quantity. Question: starting with a total of 1,000 kilograms of greige fabric, if the factory had 500 kilogram dye vats, then how many colors could you dye? The answer is 2. So 500 kilograms of fabric would be dyed one color, and then 500 kilograms of fabric will be dyed another color. But the total is still 1,000 kilograms. So the MOQ for fabric is 1,000 kilograms, and the MCQ in this case is 500 kilograms. So the number of colors you can make depends on the dye vat sizes the fabric dyeing factory has. After the fabric is dyed, it has to be set. This is a fabric setting machine. It's basically a big dryer. The fabric is stretched to the desired width and then heated to work out the wrinkles and create stability before it is rolled up and shipped to the sewing factory. These setting machines cannot be easily turned on and off. They need to run continuously to be efficient. Can you imagine the expense of buying, maintaining, and running this fabric setting machine? Then you have the printing factories. Here you see a screen printing factory with 10 tables. Screen printing MOQs start around 1,000 screen prints per artwork. Or accessory factories. Here you see a polybag factory. Their MOQ is 2,000 polybags. This is a woven label machine, and the MOQ is 5,000 labels. They can do less than 5,000 labels, but the price goes up significantly. For example, the price at 5,000 labels might be 2 cents, but for 1,000 labels, the price will increase to 4.2 cents, more than double. This is a 20-head embroidery machine. All 20 embroidery heads need to be used simultaneously to reach maximum efficiency. There are embroidery machines with as few as just 1 head. But can you imagine if the order is 1,000 t-shirts with an embroidery? The embroidery technician would have to do 50 rounds of embroidery to finish 1,000. Let's say each round took 15 minutes to set up, embroider, and remove. That is 80 per hour. So in an 8-hour working day, they can do 640 embroideries. This number crunching gives you a feel for the pace at which an embroidery factory operates. The bigger the machine, the more efficient. This is a rotogravure sublimation printing machine that does printing for duvet covers, blankets, and sportswear. Each station has 1 color. Each station has 1 metal roller with artwork etched onto the surface of the roller. Paper is fed through the rollers where the different colors are printed onto the paper. 1 roller costs around $800 to make. That is for the etching of the roller with your design. You don't actually buy the roller. This printing technique is very fast and low cost, but requires a minimum of 1,000 meters per artwork. Once the paper is printed, then the ink needs to be transferred to the fabric. This is step 2 of rotogravure printing. You can see the paper fed in on top and fabric fed in on the bottom. Both paper and fabric are pressed together at high temperatures. The ink flashes to a gas and transfers from the paper into the synthetic fibers of the fabric. The MOQ for rotogravure printing is 1,000 meters and is a 2-step process. Bottom line is that whatever kind of printing or embroidery you want, each kind has different MOQs. An order of 1,000 Chuck Taylors, 1 color, is very different than an order of 1,000 Chuck Taylors in 4 colors. A shoe factory might accept to go as low as 1,000 all 1 color, but as soon as you ask for multiple colors, you don't meet the fabric MCQ and they refuse. You might say, I just want red, white, black, and blue. Surely those colors are available in stock fabric. While it is true you can buy stock fabric in available colors, but most likely the exact blue or the exact red that you want is not available. Chances of you finding exactly what you want in stock fabric, trims, or accessories is very slim. It's important that you be upfront with the factory about your MOQ and your MCQ. You must meet both. A rookie mistake is to ask the MOQ, but not ask the MCQ. Most likely the MCQ will be the deal killer. For example, these 3 bags are the same design, but the color or prints are different. The factory will tell you their MOQ is 1,000, but fail to mention their MCQ, and you don't think to ask. You will think, great, I will make 1,000 with 3 different colors, when in fact the factory will need 1,000 per color or per print. If you want to make 3 different prints, then you have to order 3,000, not 1,000. Be sure to distinguish between MOQ and MCQ when talking to a supplier for the first time. Plan for quantities equal to or greater than 1,000 per style, per fabric, per color, or print. Factories will politely disappear if you don't meet their MOQs. If you don't meet the MOQs of each factory in the supply chain, somebody loses money. Nobody wants to lose money. The factories won't lose money. They know exactly what they can and cannot do. If they calculate that they cannot earn a profit with your order due to minimum order constraints, they will simply disappear. There are manufacturing companies that will do small quantity like sourcestudio.co, FrenchPeopleDesign.com, and simplysaigon.com. These three companies are all based here in Ho Chi Minh City. They are rare and they are agents, not factories. If they agree to work with you, then they will charge a premium, so much that it might not make business sense. In the next lesson, we will cover the third mistake I see people making the first time they manufacture in Vietnam. They try to manage design, development, and production by email. My advice is to have boots on the ground.
Hi, thanks for listening to the end. Can you see how producing your product in Vietnam will grow your business? Are you ready to grow? When is a good time to visit Vietnamese factories to get price quotes and samples? Contact us at VietnamFactoryTours.com for more information about our consulting, factory introductions, and tours. Hire us to get you inside and find the right factory fast. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Remember, thoughts are things. Where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome to Vietnam.